I am a big Resident Evil fan, so I decided to rework and remix the theme from the police station from Resident Evil 2. Obviously, these songs and stuff, they're aimed at trying to create atmosphere and generate maybe even fear when you're playing the game. I don't think you can just straightforward remix it as it's laid out in the actual game. So when I decided to remix it, I decided to make the little piano riff the sort of main element of the track. There's a lot of little ambient noises and sounds in there and stuff like that, which I don't really think would work well if you just like loop that and added drums over it. So I'll go through the drums to start with. The drums are very basic. You've got a kick, you got a ride, which is playing every eighth note rather than like your normal just fourth. Snare, and we have this little snare fill here, which I've created. Then we have the hi-hat, which again just a very simple pattern. Then we have this little like perk hit. And on that we just have a bit of EQ cutting the low end off, and that's also covering the hats as well. So together I will leave a link in the description where you can download this FLP. It's not as clean as how I normally make it because I wasn't initially going to put this remix up, but I thought I might as well stick it up there. So it's not as clean as I normally make it. And if you don't use FL Studio, you can still download the project file, and when you unzip it, it will have all the individual samples, like WAV files, that you can just import into whatever DAW that you use. So that's the basic drums underway there. Nothing too special about that. Then the bass. And this just has a kickstart on it. So the bass pattern itself, this is the full bass pattern. And then we just added a kickstart to sidechain it. If you don't have kickstart, you can use something like FL Studio. I've got one. I can't remember what it's called, but they've got their own sort of version of it. Or you can, I'm sure there's free ones out there. Or you can even just automate the volume yourself using Fruity Balance. So to start off with, the bass line just goes, the first just goes from G to C and just repeats like that. So that with the and then obviously when the chords change, it opens up a bit. We have this sort of pad sound coming in, which is from Surge, which again you can download. This is a free VST. On this we have a little bit, so if we take these off, just quickly look at the chords. So we have the bass notes here. Then we have the top of the chord mirroring it, and then we have these two sort of pedal notes playing. And on there we've added a Fruity Shaper, which makes it wider. Bit of EQ. and then just an OTT to sort of bring it all together. Again, you can download this OTT for free. Now the lead is taken from there's some EQ, it's taken from Spire, some EQ, cut the lows off, boosted the upper mids, and then again an OTT just to give it that bit more saturation. Now this other riff coming in towards the end here, which again is taken from Surge. Big boosts in the upper range. And then we've added some delay on as well. So the start of it, this is where I've sort of, in the start of it, I've sort of kept all the sort of similar riffs and sounds to the actual track itself, and then we go into this like sort of drop down where we have the piano filtering up, and that's when it sort of kicks into the actual like synthwave or sort of standard track. So obviously we've just got a drone in there. This is basically just a saw wave, 2 octaves down, 5 unisons, a little bit of detune, and then we've added some drive and fatness on it, and then just cut off. And then we've added an OTT. Oh, sorry. Yeah, OTT, fruity balance, and EQ, which we're not using at the moment. Then for the piano itself, this is taken from Vengeance, Avenger piano. So the original piano is just something. It's just this part here, and then so we've just made it into like an 8-bar loop where it's just looping. And then on this we have a few different things. Compressor, delay, and then a very extreme looking EQ. We've cut the low end off and massively boosted the highs. And then the only change to the piano is towards the end of it we've gone to like this sort of chorded riff part. Just to help it transition into the sort of second part, because the second part we sort of add in a couple of extra riffs at once. We have the low hit of the piano. This is the piano, just like a low hit. And then we get into sort of these sort of riffs. One of the riffs we have here is this. had a little chorus there to make it a little bit wider, and this contains 2 different sounds. So this is this one, and then this one from Flex. Then we have this little riff here. Which is from Kepler, and then just again a bit of EQ and sort of reverb. And the bells that are hitting are from Nexus, Big Ben. Nothing on that whatsoever. Then we have this other sort of weird sound which is coming from Avenger called Exoplanet. Again, nothing on that. Then we have these pad hits towards the end, and these sort of filter down. So in the actual track, and it only goes on like 1. So what I've done is I've added all these little elements in, and then I've let this sort of filter down, sort of bringing it down, and then I'm bringing it back up here with the piano, which I think sort of merges the 2 parts of the track together. And then we have obviously this brass. Section, there's nothing on that. And then what we do is during this sort of loop period here, during the sort of main section, we just add in these riffs every now and again. Because obviously if we didn't have these riffs in, it'd just be the piano playing over and over again, and because obviously the bass line isn't changing much, it starts to get repetitive every 2 bars. If we had this bass line here playing, so it was sort of changing, the loop was maybe 8 bars, you could get away with adding all extra stuff in because of the changes to the bass. But because the bass is only 2 bars long, and obviously the art piano is just playing the same notes in a 1 bar loop, all this extra stuff I think is needed to not make it as boring, if that makes sense. And then finally we go on to the percussion. So the percussion is your standard. We've got a sort of crash, sweeps up, but then we've added a little extra in. We've added this Resident Evil sort of city ambience, which I think is taken from Resident Evil 2 at the start, when you're sort of walking around after the crash, if you played the game. And then when we kick into we have the footsteps. Now you can grab all these sound effects off YouTube or something like that. What I've done is I've got the footsteps and then I've made them into a pattern. And then at the end of it we have the Resident Evil door, sort of iconic door opening sound. And then closing behind, using that as a sort of fill. Which I think works fairly well. And then we just have this Resident Evil voice here saying Resident Evil on the title screen. Resident Evil. And And that's about it really. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. I've obviously tried to incorporate some of the original sounds from the actual game into it so that it just makes it feel a bit more authentic. I've kept the BPM at sort of 85, sort of lower. I think it's maybe slower than the original. Can't remember exactly. But again, you can download this FLP from the description below. And again, like I said, if you don't have FL Studio and you want these sounds, any of the like the drum fills, any of the samples from the drums or any of the city ambience or the sound effects, they're all in a zip. Just unzip it and you'll be able to take whatever you want out. And again, if you've got FL Studio, you'll be able to just use this, just load this up and have a mess around with it. But guys, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching.